Who's your emergency contact? Who should we notify in the case of death? Welcome to the USP, where I spent the last 2+ decades of my life. It's been an interesting week. I want to just deviate a little bit from the prison story and just, share with you with what we're trying to do out here and what we're doing, and things that come along that surprises you along the way. Yesterday was Saturday, and we had celebrated Laos New Year. Laos and Cambodian New Year is in April, but the reason we were celebrating it yesterday is because the Laos temple that's being built out here by Magna, Utah, in West Valley, is at the end of West Valley and Magna, is brand new, and they hadn't had the walls finished, so the city wouldn't let us host the New Year's event because there's going to be a lot of people if the wall wasn't finished. So the wall got finished, and yesterday they celebrated Laos New Year. A little late, but I had planned on going, but then on Thursday I had hurt my back. And like right now you can see I'm sitting with my back all the way pressed against the couch because my lower back doesn't have any strength to support my torso right now. And it's the injury when I got hurt when I was playing football in Atwater. I think I shared the story with you guys. I got blindsided by a big ass fat Puerto Rican dude, and so every now and then it acts up. It does what it wants to do, but whatever. But I wasn't sure I was gonna go to the New Year's on Saturday. I had planned on going, but then once I hurt my back, I was like, nah, I'm not gonna go. But I kept getting a couple texts and calls to come down there. And one of the reasons that I wasn't sure that I was gonna go, because my back's messed up, and that makes me vulnerable. And my mindset is still, part of me is still stuck in the 90s, stuck in the penitentiary. Even though we fast forward a quarter of a century from the last time I was on the street till now, there's a lot of things that transpire from the time I started running around in the streets until now. And along the way, I made a lot of enemies. But and I have a lot of victims. But these are all people that are within the Asian community. We had Cambodian New Year and Laos New Year in April. I went to the Cambodian New Year. It was fine. I had a great time. But just like, being able to go to that Cambodian New Year, being able to watch, the girls do their traditional dance, the monks say their prayers, see the kids run around, putting whipped cream on each other, playing water fight. It was surreal for me because, that was the first time in a long time when I was able to enjoy a celebration. And I remember it used to be like that when I was a kid, when I was, from the time I remembered all the way up to about 12, 13 years old, my dad would take us to Cambodian New Year. And we would go, we water fight, run around, whipped cream. I always find myself at the dice game, where they play the clock cloak, the animal dice. It's 3 dice. They have like a rooster, a crab, a shrimp, a deer, tiger and a cloak, or a fish. There's 6, different animal pictures on it. And it's the easiest game. They got 6 squares with the different 6 different pictures. You put your money on it, and when they shake the dice and your picture comes up, you win. So, it wasn't nothing for a little kid to pick up. But, those were the New Year's I remember, running around, gambling, chasing the girls, getting, into water fights and stuff. But as we got older, into our teens, Cambodian New Year wasn't a celebration anymore. We used Cambodian New Year as an opportunity to go and catch our opposition slipping. And at the time you don't realize it because you're caught up in your own world, but the things that we were doing was just being disruptive to our community. Like, even though we're at war with these people, Cambodian New Year, the temple, was a place for us to come together, our community to come together and celebrate our culture. But when we were kids, when we were teenagers, we kept ruining that for our community. So Cambodian New Year, instead of it being a memory of a celebration, of laughter, over the years, when I was out there in 98, it was always a tragedy. One incident, it was 1995. And I came home on a home visit from my Proctor home. And it's New Year's, but I have curfew and all that, so I wasn't really sweating the New Year. I've been in juvie for the last 3 or 4 months. So I'm at home and I'm on the computer and I'm playing chess. I think there was a Mariah Carey CD in the computer that my little brother was a fan of, and it was just in a loop. So I'm listening to Mariah Carey and I'm playing chess on the computer. And my phone rings, the house phone rings. The phone's right there next to the computer in my little brother's room. So I pick up the phone. Hello? And on the other end was, she's my aunt in every definition of the word. I don't have any blood relatives. Everybody from my biological mother's side has passed away, died before, during the war. Everybody on my father's side has moved on, passed away, died. When I came to America, the only blood relation I had was my father, my little brother, and an older sister. Everybody else from our bloodline, died from the war. My dad got remarried when I was 4, and from their marriage, I have 2 brothers and another sister. So I don't have no aunts, no uncles, no grandparents or anything like that. Cousins either. But this lady, I've known her my whole life. We came to America together. There's like 4 of our 4 families that we've known each other since we've been here in America. Before, we were in the refugee camp together. All their little brothers and sisters, I know all their little brothers and sisters. I watched them grow up when they were in diapers. And all the boys from these prospective family, we all grew up, and half of them end up gangbanging with me, following in my misguided footsteps. So in 95, I'm home at a home visit, and my phone rings. And we just call her my aunt, because she's my aunt. Phone ring, and it's my aunt. And she's like, hey, is your parents home? I was like, no. I said, yeah, they're home. They're in the living room. She's like, hey, your brother just died in the hospital today, just right now. At the time of the phone call, it was about 8, 9 o'clock in the evening. The sun was just barely setting because, in spring, coming spring, the sun takes a little bit longer to set. But it was already a little dark outside, but it's around 8 or 9 in the evening. She said, yeah, your brother just died in the hospital. Really, this is the first time I'm really ever sharing this story here. Like, I've never shared it with any of my friends or with any of my family members. And at the time, I didn't process it. Because, death wasn't anything new to me. I've been surrounded by it, from the time I took my first breath. But, I have all these family members that died before I was even born, and my mom that passed away, I don't have any memories of that. So for me, there was like really no personal connection to any of these things. It was just, I know that these people have passed on. And even here, out here, I've been to funerals, but these people that passed on, or these people that's been killed, or however they, met their end, I didn't have any personal relationship to them. I wasn't related to any of them because I don't have any relatives. But here's this kid that we used to sleep over at each other's house. We go on camping trips together. Like I said, there was about four families that we lived in Utah together, moved out to California and lived in California together. Then everybody decided to move back to Utah. We always stayed close, even till this day. These kids that I watched grew up, that followed me, wherever I went, end up going to prison, coming home, got married, have kids of their own. So, and I apologize if this is if I'm not, just spewing it off, but it's just like I said, back then I didn't process it because it was just something that happened that I've been accustomed to, that I've seen. But at the same time, this is the first time that it was a family member. It was my brother. He was older than me. He was a grade older than me. And it happened on New Year's in '95, Cambodian New Year in Modesto at Paradise. They have a place in Paradise, Modesto, where they go and celebrate Cambodian New Year. And what came about was my brother got to a point in his life, he was having a baby. His girl was pregnant, and he was having a baby, and he was rethinking the lifestyle that he was living. But some of his homie, one in particular, wasn't really feeling that. So they were bumping heads. So when Cambodian New Year came around, they both ended up showing up at the Cambodian New Year. You know, they exchanged words or whatever, you know, inside the gates, and both decided to go back to their car. They both ran back to their car, grabbed their gun, or they might have had their gun on them, but they both had guns, and they started shooting each other. They both got hit. You know, I don't know how many times or anything like that. I don't know all the details, but they're both shooting each other. They both got hit. My brother was taken to the hospital, and there at the hospital, he bled out and died. The other guy survived. I don't know anything about the other dude. Don't care. But this is how we celebrated Cambodian New Year's. You know, being there yesterday was surreal for me because it's been a long time since I was able to walk around and enjoy the celebration. You know, watch the traditional dance, inhale the fragrance of the food, and just enjoy the sound of the kids running around, laughing and giggling, and yeah. But, you know, I was apprehensive to go yesterday because of my back. I can't walk. And like I said, you know, leading up to prison, going to prison, even while I was locked up, I was very active. And, you know, anybody that was in opposition to me, that was out here in the street, if they were locked up with me, I still carried that war with me. And, you know, we wrecked, we bumped heads. So, you know, this being the last celebration for our New Year, because it got delayed all the way till, you know, yesterday, I already know everybody in the valley, everybody, you know, any Asian, Laos, Cambodian, within driving distance was gonna come up for the last little bash. So, you know, I wasn't sure if I should go because, like I said, I don't want to get myself in a situation where I can't defend myself. But at the same time, I'm not trying to hide out in my house. You know, I have a lot of history here at home, so everybody knows that I'm home. And I got up and I went. You know, I limped over there. I ended up having to park really far because I showed up. Because, you know, it started off like at 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock, and goes all the way till 5. People that called me, they said they were going to be up there at 1. So I showed up at 1. So by the time I showed up, it was already packed. So I had to park, you know, a little distance away and then like wobble my ass down to the temple. But, you know, when I got there, like the incident I'm trying to share that I'm leading up to sharing with you was, I'm walking to go get some food, and a guy comes up to me, and he sticks his hand out to shake my hand. I don't recognize him. You know, I don't recognize anybody. I've been gone for so long, and everybody's like, you know, 25 years older. Everybody's a little heavier. A lot of people, you know, got a lot of facial hair now, or, you know, a bunch of wrinkles. I don't recognize anybody. So I'm definitely putting myself in a position to get caught slipping real easy because I have no idea who anybody looks like, you know. So I'm walking up to go get in line to go get some food, and a guy comes up on me, and I already know that it's one of them dudes from the opposite side that I used to beef with. I expect that. I've been having these encounters since I've been home. So the guy comes up, he sticks his hand out to me, and I hesitate a little bit because I don't know, I'm like what's up? He's like, man, what's up, man? I said, what's up? He goes, we good? I said, sure. I don't know what's going on, right? I was like, man. He's like, man, you don't remember me, huh? I was like, nah, I don't remember you. He said, man, we used to bump heads back in the days. I said, oh, yeah? I was like, what's your name? He said, OT. Now, he's a Laos dude from the opposite gang. And the encounter that me and him had was in the county jail. I was in Supermax, and they came and got me. I was doing time in Supermax, and the CEO came and told me, hey, roll up. They're putting you back in population. So I rolled my bag up, and I go to population. They take me into this unit. At the time I'm in the county jail, we gangbang. We're at war. And my objective every time I'm in population is try to catch somebody slipping and bust their head. That was just my mentality. So I go into a unit, and it's just a natural instinct for me to survey my surrounding and get a head count of who's who and what's what. You know what I mean? Because, it's not just one gang I'm gangbanging with. Because just like anything else, this gang has an alliance. And that alliance has an alliance. So I have to be aware of who's in the block, who has an alliance with who, and who has an alliance with what. Because I'm not going to sit around and wait to get jumped on. I already know what it is. It's on site. So if it's on site, what is there to sit around and have a conversation for? So I go into the block, and I look around, and I see one Asian dude. And, back then, everybody had a look about them. Like whatever gang you were from, whatever, part of the city you were from, you had a certain style to you, a certain look that is recognizable. Maybe not to the average citizen or whatever, but to us, we're able to spot each other out by the color we wear, by the demeanor that we by the way we walk, by the hairdo, the clothes, whatever. We always have a way to spot each other and recognize each other that, either we're friends or foe. So I go in, I look, and there's an Asian dude on the second tier. I already know where it is, right? So my room is downstairs. They put me in a room downstairs. I don't even pack up my property. I just put it up my bunk, and I go up the stairs, but I go the other way. But as I'm walking up the stairs, the CEO is calling for people for visits, and in our unit in the county jail, the visiting room is attached to your unit. They just come out from the outside or whatever. It's all window, no contact visit, but they let you in right in the unit. So they put them in the visiting room and they lock the door. So our visiting is 30 minutes. So like I said, I never unpacked my shit. I just stood by the door until the visiting was done. When the visiting's done, they unlocked the door, and all the people there's about 6, 7 people that had visits. They filed out. So when he came down the stairs, because we have one floor, a second tier, and then there's like a little 5-foot stair to go to the visiting room. So when he came down those stairs and he was on the second tier, I approached him. But at this time, I had just broken my finger in another incident, and I had a soft cast on. So, and I had the soft cast on me, right? When I approached the dude. I don't know him. I don't know his name. I never met him, but I just know that he's from the opposite side. So I hit him up. So what's up, homie? Where you from? And he's like, yeah, I'm from Westside OLG. He just started taking off on me. Beat, 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 right? So I got one hand, because this one is the soft cast doesn't do me any good because my hand are split like this. Like these two are in a cast. This is sticking out, and it's a soft cast, so you can't even use it to hit nobody in the head or anything with. So I'm just like trying to fight, with one hand. You know what I mean? While he's picking me off. He's taxing me. Bing, 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 bing. But my adrenaline is going. I'm not feeling it. I'm not feeling it. I took my glasses off before, my dumb ass went over there with a broken arm. So I get over there and whatever. He's tapping me. Bing, 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 bing. And I'm over there, right? And then the CO runs up and it's all me. He sticks the whole freaking can of mace right in my face and just, because at this time, I've already kind of, I guess, built a reputation of always into something, right? So, and all the staff in the county, they all know who I am or whatever. So the CEO came up, sprayed me down, right? Anyway, cuffed me up, took me back to Supermax. That's the last time I ever seen dude. I don't even know what he looked like. Like, I just saw him for that 1 minute before he started punching me. You know what I mean? So yesterday, when he pulled up on me, he's like, yeah, my name's OT. Oh, damn. But there was no, animosity or, worry or anything because, since I've been home, like I said, I've already ran into different people that back in the days we used to bump heads, but we already understand, look, man, this is what I'm on. Now, if you still got an issue, we could deal with it because I ain't ducking nothing. But they also understand, I'm being sincere with what I'm trying to do, because I don't wish my worst enemy to be locked up. I'd rather him die than sit in a box for 20-something years. And these dudes that I run into, even though we were from the opposite side, it's not like they're not gangster or anything within their own rights. I'm not taking anything away from them. If you're not a rat, if you're not a child molester, if you're not a sex offender, I don't really have nothing against you. And if you're representing your side, I don't got nothing against that. When we bump heads, we bump heads. We don't. But as far as being on man time, I don't have no issue with you. And coming out, doing these videos and saying the things that I say, I can't live in a state of contradiction. Because, these guys, just like my friends that's been out here, they all have kids that are in their late teens, young adults. Some of them even have kids that already have kids. But these individuals, they lived that life and they knew how hard it was. And when you see their kids don't know anything about the life that we live. All these kids that these guys out here have been having, they're pretty good, man. They're all graduating school. Not all, not all of them, but they're not in the trouble that we were in. And it's cool. Seeing that inspires me. Seeing that makes me want to commit more to what it is I'm trying to do. Like, I'm just out here freestyling. I don't really know how to do the things that I want to do, but I'm doing it. And, having an opportunity like that for our community and other kids around us, the younger generation, see like, here's these people that usually literally killed each other. Because we all have deaths on both sides. But for them to see us that, hey, look, man, sooner or later we have to wake up and realize like the shit that we've been doing isn't working for anybody. And the only thing it's doing is destroying our community. And when you get to a point where you wake up and realize that, you have to do something about it. If you don't, then you're still part of the problem. And I've been a problem for a long time. But now at this time in my life, I want to find a way to be part of the solution. And I thank you guys for bearing with me on this day. I just felt like it was something that I wanted to share with you guys and let you guys know the progression that I'm still going through. This, at the end of the day, is not just to entertain, man, but really it's to find a way to bring our community together. And when I say community, I'm not talking about just specifically the Asian Islander community. I'm talking about everybody. I'm talking about Mexicans, I'm talking about blacks, I'm talking about whites, like all these kids, all these people out in all these cities. Like, I always say like life is already hard as it is. Why add unnecessary shit to it? Welcome to the USP.